Welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today. So tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, I'm going to be sitting down with the Gold Hoarders to talk about the latest weekend Bilge Rat kind of event. It's a weekender. It's a Bilge Rat thing, and we're going to talk about it. But I've got Evil Morpheus and Godhammer joining me this week to sit down and kind of discuss some of the pros and cons about the Bilge Rats weekender, as well as the Doubloons, and just some general conversation, especially given that we typically have different mindsets around the game. So it's always good to hear differing opinions. It's always nice to hear from other folks in the community and what they think and feel. And as they're sort of regulars with the show, it's nice to kind of have them back just to see what they think of the latest development with Rare and Act 2. So pirates, with that, let's get into it. But before we get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They're the ones that went over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast to support this content that helps take care of the services, that helps take care of the hosting. All of that is very much appreciated. So I always like to call out the patrons and let them know by name that I appreciate them. Starting off, as always, thanks to A-Chick, L-Cute, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chonky, Chateau Neuf, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Crazy Frog, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Godhammer 6, Jeff H, Carl Embo of Embo Family Gaming, Elvin Vramir, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Rabid Raccoon, Blue Crab, Real Big Tuna, Reap's Revenge, Registella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustpelt Kid, Shoe Daddy 13, Skamelt 666, Tales of the Sea, The Demon Jester, Tommy D, TN Professor, Wild Hog Murph, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Hager Owl, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore the Insipid Ghost, and Zam Wow. Thank you all so much for your love, for your support. It really does mean the world to me, and I appreciate it. So with that, pirates, let's get into it. Welcome everyone to the April Gold Hoarder episode for Sea of Thieves, a Keelhauled podcast. It is a lighter week as far as guests go. Ironically enough, I think one of the few weekends or months where we probably could have had a lot of folks drop in to share some heated opinions, but we are Rare is spared that this week, as I have Evil Morpheus and Godhammer joining me for this episode, and I appreciate both of them dropping in. If you guys may have noticed, there is no Registella. Regis, shout out to him, decided he wants to step back from waking up super early in the mornings. So he is going to be avoiding coming in from time to time. But as we are getting into things, why not get into introductions, as we do have Evil Morpheus joining us for this week's episode. So Morpheus, how you been, man?
I'm good, Logan. How's everything with you?
Good. I really can't complain. Outside of stuff going on with the game, life is good. So I'm very happy about that.
That's good.
Next up, we have Godhammer. Godhammer joining us after returning from the UK and actually getting to stand outside Rare headquarters. Well, at least the gates.
Yeah. Good day, everybody. Let's
cracking one open.
Get into it. Get into it.
So I'm glad that you guys are here. I genuinely need to hear that, at least outside of like the YouTube comments and some folks on Patreon kind of sharing their opinions on this. I genuinely wanted to talk about the Bilge Rat Weekender, the doubloon issue. Now that we're actually seeing like how this is playing out, how things are going. I need to know some outside opinions, because it's hard to trust social media when it comes down to this. And you guys play the game as much as anyone else I know, and would love to kind of get like some thoughts about how you feel like the Bilge Rat Weekender went. How are the doubloons? Was there stuff that you guys needed to go? So we're gonna get into all of that. So kind of kicking things off, Act 2 started out, and the Bilge Rat Weekender came out, and I've already kind of shared my feelings on this, so I won't rehash them all. But needless to say, I was disappointed with the event overall, and the fact that it was just the first weekend of the act, and now that it's over, there's really not a whole lot left to do for us in Act 2. But Hammer, you managed to make it back in time to actually jump in this weekend. How did you feel about the Bilge Rat Weekender?
First off, that Coca-Cola got all over my shirt.
Oh no.
Yes, I managed to squeak in just as the Weekender was kicking off. I got back on Friday morning and needed to sleep because I also felt like I was dying during that weekend. Picked up something in the UK and brought it back with me. I got in so the first thing I did immediately upon getting into the Weekender was I did the Merrick's fishing recipe voyages.
Oh yeah.
Because I love those voyages. I don't know what it is, but it just feels right, those ones. So I immediately did all 3 of those before anything else. I just have fun with those. And then I don't think I got into any doubloon gathering activities until our Sunday sale. And we gathered, I got about 1,100 doubloons, 1,165, I think it were. I know that one of the big sticking points that pretty much everybody on the crew did not appreciate was the limitation on doubloon earnings from the voyage. I think everybody on the crew, Witch and Tengu, were all fairly universal in their opinion that was not good. I have to agree. Why would we do that? Why? You want people to keep doing these voyages. Why would you bake in a disincentive to stop doing them afterwards? Like, you want people out there collecting the doubloon crates, but after I finish my 3rd one, it just stops being worth doubloons? So why I do that after? Why not? Why wouldn't I just go and do a fleef, get a chest of fortune instead? Something that has value and use. It's baffling decision. Don't understand it. Not a fan. If you want to try and artificially limit us in that way, I've got my hands up right now. We're talking full hands at this point. It's like, why wouldn't you just give us fewer of the voyages and make them worth less doubloons in that case? Because why would you limit us in that way? That doesn't. Not a fan of that decision. Hope they change it. Also, the deeds. All the deeds could only be done on this weekend. And we got months. The deeds for the seasonal deeds.
Yep.
For this part of the act, and you can only do it for one weekend. Why? Why would you do that, guys? Come on. That's.
So I want to get Morpheus's thoughts in this. I'll take a. So Morpheus, did you get a chance to play in the actual Weekender?
Yes, absolutely. I played all 4 days.
Okay.
But everything was pretty much done within the first day and a half, or it took me 2 sessions to do everything. So overall, the Weekender was great, but the execution of it, to have it just over 4 days, especially for the inaugural one, and to only allow those deeds, like you said, to be done for only 4 days when you got a whole month of playtime, that killed it right there for being a seasonal event. That made no sense. And I'm on the same hand with Godhammer, give us unlimited voyages, but make them worth less and less doubloons the more and more you turn in. The first 3, 200, fine. The next ones be 100. Then bring them down to 50 and then to 25 for the rest. And just make, because I'll keep doing them for 25. I don't care. It's just annoying to me. It's terrible. But I enjoyed the whole aspect of doing the little fun little things, the 5 little tasks you had to do. I enjoyed all that. The fishing, the Merrick's fishing, everything.
So I would say that I liked the Merrick stuff coming back. That felt good. The hunter's call stuff returning added a little variety to what I thought was a pretty light weekend as far as like stuff to do. You had 4 voyages, 2 voyages, 2 times each. And it didn't feel like there was a whole lot really pushing you to do any of that outside of just the doubloons. For myself, I think that I agree with you. I think, remove the cap of the voyages for the weekend so you can do as many as you want and just have those award you less. I think if they award the same amount for people who steal them, I would prefer that because that still incentivizes people to go after them. So that they can earn the full amount.
Encourage the PvP.
Sorry?
I'm all for encouraging PvP, even though I hate PvP. I still do it. But yeah encourage it. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if the first 3, and Hammer, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. If the first 3 were for the full amount, and then subsequent ones, like the next 3 were 100, and then the next 3 after that were 50, and then from then on, it's just 50 indefinitely. It seems like it would at least keep enough people engaging with it to open up the opportunity to be able to steal them from other people.
Yeah, that's also fine. I like that. It's just I just don't understand why they cut you like straight off after that. Because it's like it's a bad and you should get like the full for stealing it from somebody else.
Yeah. I think that's a need.
Yeah. I just that would have been better. All of that would have been better. Also, one of the things that they didn't do especially well was tell you that once you've done both of the voyages for the fishing, you also get doubloons after that. I had to go into the event menu and find that. I forgot. I didn't even know that they told us that was a thing that would give us extra doubloons.
So I'm curious because that was one of the big issues that I had when I first started the Weekender. Was there was like no information about like what you got for doing any of that stuff. And it wasn't until I actually started to poke around more that I found out that they had the whole event tab opened up and explained. And I was like, oh, this is like, this information should be like front and center as soon as you open up the voyage table. Like it shows you the limited voyages for them. It's associated with the big banner that's on the voyage table that shows you like, hey, there's an event going on. Click on this to see the details of the event. And then the voyages are underneath that little big info panel. So try and surface that stuff so it's not like buried in the UI.
I think one of the things that you mentioned last episode was a good idea, and like do something with the bulletin board out at the dock. Why?
Yeah.
Again, that I am going to once again state that a lot of the problems with that board could simply be solved with a little flag that comes up saying that there's like information of note currently posted right there. You just have a little red flag on top of the thing, and it tells you like when somebody has submitted a map into the thing, their own like they've buried treasure and put a thing and delivered the map. And it's up on the thing. Just put a little flag up there. And then you just have like public events. And it's like in all the information you need for the current event that's going on right now. It's just like that board is so potentially useful. And it's just been ignored for almost 15 seasons now.
You guys don't use it on a regular basis?
The only time I've ever used that thing on a regular basis is when those things just started spitting out boxes of wondrous secrets for some weird reason. And that was hilarious.
That was the last time I used it.
I purposefully did not engage with that because I did not want Rare to do anything. Well, not that they ever do anything about like cheaters or well, they do stuff about cheaters, but they don't do anything about like exploits for the most part. Like they don't like steal the doubloons or something that you gained from that kind of stuff. Not that it really well. So here's a question that kind of goes back to the main point of all this. How are you guys feeling about the doubloons? Is the doubloon cap a good idea? is the way to earn doubloons right now a good means? Like it seems like Reaper chests are painful to have to try and farm to get any amount of doubloons outside of the Bilge Rat Weekender.
I'm fine honestly with the cap for doubloons and how much more effort you need to get to earn them. That's fine, because that again becomes now a more of a long-term goal. And as you all know about me, I've banged on about the long-term goals thing for quite some time. So I'm fine with that part. I'll at least it becomes something I can work towards when I go and try and take a Reaper chest at this point. I'm fine with that. I like that. It just no, I'm fine with that actually. No, I'm fully fine with it.
Morpheus, how about you? You okay with the doubloon cap in and of itself as a system?
Yes, the doubloon cap itself is perfectly fine with me, but the way that you earn to get up to that cap, and then the cap doesn't even, if like people like me who don't need that cap, we could just go buy everything with that cap. There are people out there that even if they cap it out and they earned all that, they still can't buy everything in either shop. Like, and they still have to, but that incentivizes you to not keep those doubloons in your wallet and allow you to force you to spend them, which is fine. That's what the cap is there for. But the earning part of it is the terrible part of the whole situation.
It definitely feels like they're pushing people to wait to work on doubloons until the Bilge Rat Weekender and then to grind it out, which personally I hate. I hate the fact that they're incentivizing you to focus on one weekend, because it really does kind of like you then have to sit there and be like, okay, well, do I plan out my time with friends or things going on in my life around this one weekend that happens a month? And it goes against like the tools, not rules aspect of like playing Sea of Thieves. You go and do and having adventures whenever you want, doing whatever you want.
They have pointed out that it's going to be the last weekend of the month, which is, nice, so that you can do a little bit of pledging in that way.
Yeah, I appreciate the transparency there. I still just hate that it's like they're only doing it for one weekend a month. I think a week would probably be something that it would be nicer to see. But I think that's a perspective thing, because not everyone's going to have a weekend.
Not everyone's going to have a weekend, but at least you can get, it's not like doing what you need to do doesn't take up that much time. So as long as you got like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I can always just make a little bit of time on each of those weekends. And it's not, as long as it's not like at this point, again, tied to seasons where there's an act that you have to do in that one thing.
Yeah, I think you do have to have at least a little bit of time. I just hate that, there's situations where people are not going to be available during that weekend for each month, because that is like a particular, like if you have to go visit your kids, because that's when the court appointed the time. Like there's a lot of what ifs there that it's not necessarily, but it's going to cause issues for some folks. And that's something that I'm like, that sucks. It would be nice if it was a little bit broader of a time frame to be able to jump in to do stuff, because it's not going to start up like the beginning of Friday. It's going to start up sometime Friday in the afternoon. I think that's, for me at least, I'm just looking to try and make it a little more lenient for folks that aren't available during the entire weekend. The irony being, of course, is I'm recording a podcast at a very specific time at a very specific day once a month.
As one does.
Yeah. But I mean, even this is kind of like you guys showing up for the podcast is kind of a testament. It's like not everyone's going to be available every single month at this time, even if they know that is something that's like locked in stone. Because other people, they're busy with their lives. So I just feel bad for folks that are trying to grind doubloons, and the best way to do it is on a weekend where they're never available, because it's always on a weekend that has something going on.
Well, I don't have a life, so
yeah. I mean, neither do I. That's the thing that I'm trying to account for is me not having a problem with it is not necessarily like everyone's scenario. But
well, kudos to you for being mindful.
Well, it's just, I know, like I've been reading comments on social media and people are not happy about the FOMO aspect of it. And it's like, I can understand why. It doesn't feel good to miss out on something. The number of times you've had to help me or A-Chick with logging in to get credit for something because I'm just not available, or and vice versa, other folks having to help each other out because they logged in and have not had an opportunity to do the thing this weekend that is the specific thing that's only going to happen this weekend, and they're just trying to get credit, but they have to work or something.
So what you're saying is I'm enabling you.
Facilitating would probably be
yes.
a better word.
Yes. Good word. I sometimes you're gonna miss out on stuff. Nobody is ever going to experience the whole of human history, and sometimes it sucks.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it's like, we're trying to participate for digital clothing and ship parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's other stuff to throw out there. I'm not gonna get that. I'm not getting that black dog sword. I understand this. I have to make peace with it. Like those Buddhists who make those mandalas out of sand, and then once it's done, they wipe it all away. Form less attachments.
Speaking of attachments, did you get your doubloon sword?
I did actually, yes.
Good. No, I
had been placing myself in a state of zen about the whole thing. Just like, I don't need the sword. It is fine. I actually find myself more attached to my Eastern Winds Jade Pirate title.
Oh my god.
I think it's extremely stupid and funny, and therefore it's good actually.
So the fact that they even did it as a thing is the
Yes.
I gotcha.
Oh, it's so dumb. It's dumb and I love it.
Speaking of dumb and loving things, the doubloon sword was something that I got, and I wore it for a little while until I had to get into combat and switch weapons, and then I immediately reverted back to the favorite thing that I have on the first page, and I will probably never go back to putting the doubloon thing sword back on. But Morpheus, I'm curious if that was something that you had received or that you didn't receive and were hoping to receive. How did you feel as far as like that goes?
I have no doubt in my mind that I would not receive it, because I had 75,000 in my pocket.
Oh,
just waiting to be turned over. So I turned half of those in. I turned half of those in on the community weekend, and then ran out of time, and then they came out and actually did the right thing and did it at that 2.5 times doubloon to gold, which was cool. So overall, I got 37 million in extra gold that I didn't need.
Fantastic.
So the blue, I think they did the right thing by doing that, but by them switching, they look stupid in my opinion for overturning their own ideas. I don't like when they backtrack because of peer pressure from some kid behind a keyboard that's 3,000 miles away from them here in the United States, because they're whining because they won't get the sword because they can't afford it. This is my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm an old guy that just, it's a video game, it's pixels. I understand.
So
they waffle a lot. So, but what were you saying?
Go ahead, Hammer.
Seconded.
Yeah, gotcha.
So do you guys, are you guys that way about everything? Like, has there been instances where you won't get something and you won't get something and they don't back down on it, and you hate that you weren't going to get it?
I play too much for that to happen.
Oh, okay.
To be honest with you.
So you're not of the perspective that you're going to be affected by anything like that.
Right. But I am sympathetic to the people that are affected, but when Rare makes a decision, they need to stand by their decision and not power to the selected few people out there that have this opinion and then gets fomented into this crazy opinion that allows people to, and it just starts. They create this echo chamber amongst these community members that, I'll just whine about it and I'll get it changed. And it happens that way. It happens. I think it happens like that in a lot of different games, but I only play this game, so I only see it on the social media of this game. And it's quite terrible in my opinion that kind of stuff happens.
So I'm curious then is, do you feel like Rare is infallible? Like, do they just not make mistakes in the choices that they make?
Oh, I think they make a whole bunch of mistakes, to be honest with you. I think, but they need to stand by those mistakes. Like the big mistake of the adventures, that was a huge mistake. They just let that go, but and they never really owned up to it, but they haven't, said anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
I'm curious to know when does Rare make a mistake to the point where everyone dislikes it, and do they stick by that, or do they cave and make the change? Like what is that barrier for you versus other people? Because I think it's hard to say. I don't think they should change their opinion when they make a decision, except that they don't always make the right decision.
Well, again, but they do need to try to make the right decision. And then when it is the wrong decision, I think they should, like that one decision they made where they said, well, I can't remember what it was, but they came out and said, yep, that's the way it's going to be, and we're sticking to it, and bam, no other words about it. And I think they actually pulled that off. I can't remember, it was just recently, there was something, and then they said, no, yes, it's the wrong thing, but we're not changing it. I think that was a good thing to do, and that shows them that they're standing up to some of these people. It was something with earning something, the way something was going to be handed out, or the accommodations. Some of the accommodations, like, yes, we know they're tough, but suck it up, Buttercup. Is basically what I heard from Sonic Bob. Even though he didn't quite say those words, but he's like, yep, we're not changing it. We know it's hard.
Yeah,
but
I can't remember what it is that was in reference to.
It was some accommodation that was off the wall, kind of crazy. But it wasn't too crazy because I was able to complete whatever it was. Like I said, I played too much to not worry about those types of things. So I think there are people out there who can't play 6 hours a day.
Yeah, I think that's that's the point of contention is who do you build the game for? Are you trying to build it for the general populace, like the majority of players? And if that's the case, how much time do they have to play? And are you accounting for that when you're trying to design some of the stuff? Because that was one of the concessions that they've made, is that they want to try and build commendations that account for people who play Sea of Thieves as a regular game, but not like a game that they don't play anything else for, or they don't play any other games.
They're building it for the people who play and maybe take a year to do some of those things. And I think that's what they're trying to go for. What they're shooting for is for like, oh, this might take you like 6 months to a year to do, but people like me who can get it done, so to take the season pass. For example, the season pass, most people, it takes like the entire 3 months to get through that season pass. I blew through that thing in a week because I play too much. And I'll keep saying I play too much because I do. And my wife understands that I play too much. So just put that aside. But anyway, it's like I blow through that season pass in a week, and then some people are complaining like, oh, I'm about to do, because I think I've heard you say it a couple times, Logan, where you needed to finish the season pass. And it's like, oh, we got weeks left, let's get this done. And there's a lot of people out there that don't play that much, which is fine. And that's how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to be dragged back into the game to play it. And I think they're trying to keep their player base up by doing that. But then there's the complainers out there like, oh, there's not enough time to do it, blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't play that much, which is fine. That's your prerogative. But it's like, they need to stick to some of these long haul stuff, like the Chest of Fortune one. The Chest of Fortune, 300 chests. Granted, it was coming out 30 at a time every season, and now they're finally capping it off at the 300, which is cool. I thought I would never get that done because I never went after Chest of Fortune, but I got it. I actually got my last 7 to get to 300 somehow, because I guess I was going for a bunch of them, but yeah, I finally got my last 7 doing Fleets of Fortune just recently. So, but your normal average everyday kid who's playing this game isn't gonna be able to do like a Chest of Fortune, maybe once a week, or sometimes twice if they got a good crew or decent crew. So Like I like those types of things. Like right now, even though I have the achievement on Xbox for like say the fruit crate and the gunpowder, I'm working to get those two on PlayStation because it's the last two that even though I can write the rare and say, hey, I got these on Xbox, put them on my PlayStation. They have done that for me in the past when there was ones that were working on PlayStation. But I'm trying to progress through it just by playing. And I'm at 40% for the fruit crate one. And I don't mind it, but you can't get that done right now because it's just so, I mean, you can, but it's so hard to get those quests. And you got to constantly picking up bottle quests. And 1 out of 50 a night you might pick up. And it'll be a gunpowder or a fruit or a cannonball or a wood crate. And those are the ones that people still haven't gotten those done. A, because they don't find them regularly, and B, because they're not available in barrels anymore. So they're a lot tougher to get. So those types of things keep people playing if they work towards them, and then other people get frustrated and then stop playing the game. So there's this weird happy medium that needs to happen that, you know, I would love to complain every day for a crystal pig, like what this name does, but I'm not that type of person to try to push Rare to do something like that. I just play the game naturally and just try to find things on my own and have fun that way.
Yeah. I think the concern that I have is when it comes to these time limited things. Long-term goals, totally fine with, have something to work towards. It's when they force people to be available for one weekend out of an entire month.
Absolutely. That is the worst thing, is when you time limit something and you don't, and then like the Weekender is not going to be one in May. So they found a problem and haven't told us and just decided not to have one in May. That seems kind of silly to me. Like they should have, and they knew. I don't think they knew about it until just recently, and that's why they kind of said something on the back end and waited to tell us. But I think that's, there's a problem. Maybe hopefully they'll fix a few things, but there's definitely a problem there where they didn't tell us about, until just recently about the weekend or not being in May.
Yeah.
So that's going to be crazy.
And I think that's the trouble that I run into is when you limit how you can earn something in the game, and then you force people to engage with a time limited event to be able to earn that currency. Some people are going to look at everything that they need to get from Lorena and Duke, realize the amount of time that it's going to take to get the amount of currency is pretty high. Outside of those weekends, a lot of people are not going to engage with that content. So now you've got an entire thing where a majority of casual people who can't make it during those weekenders aren't seeing the opportunity to earn doubloons in a measurable way outside of the weekends or those weekenders, and are going to disengage with that content the same way that they probably did when they realized like there's no end to the chest of fortunes until recently, when they said that they were going to stop it at 300.
I'm glad you brought it back to that, because I have something that I want to say about that. You were cowards, Rare, for not bringing that up to grade 11. It should not ever stop. I want to see... I don't care if it goes up to 900. I want to see that commendation go on forever. Why would you put a cap on it? Why would you put a limit on it? I've got 11 more to go, and that commendation's done forever, and it's one less thing for me to do. I should be working on chest number 330 at this point, and I'm mad that it has stopped.
They need to not retire the chest of fortune, but keep it at the Fort of Fortune and make a new chest that'll spawn randomly around things to do another set of.
The last thing this game needs is another piece of loot.
Yeah, it's very true, but just to keep the momentum going with certain things, make another 10 levels of another weird item, but keep it in that same category of the chest of fortune. You know what I'm saying? Don't add another adventure. Keep it in that and just keep adding something now to it to go for. Now then you're going to make everybody mad because there's another piece of loot I got to go for 305. Well, yeah, we're trying to keep the old people engaged. And I'm talking old age, just the old Yes, I'm old age, but
You,
the old pirates.
you, sir, will take your Bilge Rat's doubloon crate, and you will like it, sir.
I would love to take my Bilge Rat to Blue Crate and carry it to Plunder Valley or wherever and turn it in for some form of doubloons, not gold.
Here's my issue with because I'm fine with having a long-term drive to grab something. Like if that's something that you want to do, that's fine. It doesn't mean I'm going to engage with it, but I understand that that's a goal for folks. The trouble that I have is that they went by and completely changed the way the doubloon economy is set up and did not take into account folks that already have past seasonal content, which is, you know, they've got the expensive stuff for Duke, right? But with them keeping these doubloon crates just for the weekenders, they very easily could have said, hey, for folks that have a lot of cosmetics to catch up on, we're going to be putting the chest of fortune as a random chance in any world event, but the chest of fortune or the fort of fortune is now going to have an opportunity to get a doubloon crate and have a way outside of the weekenders that is meaningful, that people could farm to be able to catch up on stuff. Because at this point, they've done themselves a disservice, because now they took out the ability to farm doubloons up to 4,000. Once you get to 4,000, if you have everything, there's no reason to have doubloons. At that point, there's no reason for you to bother engaging with that content. But if you're going for a Fort of Fortune and you need those, then you have a reason to go do them. If you don't need them, you can still go there and get a chance to get like a chest of fortune. But they should be putting the new exciting item in like the Fort of Fortunes as a way to drive people to continue engaging with those events or just world events in general.
You could also make like a random dig on some like bottle quest or make the quest board more in like a random quest board item right now. One of those silly barnacle merchant crates for 25 doubloon. You know, something to engage, make people engage with those things, like the accidental wondrous secret box that happened for that like 5 days. You know, make that like a thing. And I would be awesome if they never announced something like that, and some people started finding that by happenstance in the game and make it a surprise. They don't have to announce everything.
Oh, you mean like the Silencio ball?
Look, I don't know what a Silencio ball is.
I saw the first time I saw the silence ball that has been like cropping up.
Yes.
The first time I
one in the thing, it made this weird noise. It was kind of like when you shoot a gun with a suppressor on it, but it made like this weird whistle or whatever, like it was being quiet, like not a bang. Mm-hmm. And it was like a new. You held it, and it looked like a cannonball, but when you fired it or put it in your cannon, it made like a green ball effect when you fired it out of your. I can't remember what ball it would have looked like. So I guess it's just any of the green balls.
Yeah.
Was it a grog ball?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, that's what it was. So it was. That was funny. Like they accidentally added stuff to the game that shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And they broke their game in the process of the weekender too. There was all kinds of. I've been having major unstable servers for weeks now since the update came out for the season. So, and I don't know if they didn't know what to do with that.
I don't think they do either. Yeah, I like when they do little surprises in there when it's not like a main feature of the actual like update. Hammer, I wanted to give you an opportunity to, if you wanted to jump in as far as like the thoughts about having the actual crates, the doubloon crates available outside the weekenders. But also if you happen to run into the silent ball, which I saw first on social media from a Spanish tweet. So that's why I got the Silencio. I just thought it was, and I honestly think it's a funnier name.
No experience with that. I think it would be interesting. I don't know how much actual use I would see from a ball like that, because it'd be incredibly situational. Because my presumption is that it would deaden all the sounds that happen on your boat. So like somebody boarding the ladder.
Yeah.
your ship creaking, that sort of thing. That's what I assume it would be. I don't know. I guess it would be kind of handy, but if you could, you'd have to coordinate really well to make it happen. But
I could very much see like you send a border and then you hit them with a silence ball so that it's harder for people to know when someone's...
It's a very limited time. It's useful at the very end of an engagement when you got a crew already like bailing for their lives. Then it would sort of, or
I don't know. I think at the beginning of an engagement too, if you hit them with a silence ball and then you have a couple people go over to overwhelm them and they're not expecting to, maybe, and you get the anchor drop on them as a result.
I see. I think it's a fairly limited use item. I don't think it's going to be the sort of...
Aren't they all?
If you're paying attention, no, an anchor ball is an incredibly useful piece of kit.
True, but when was the last time you tactically used a grog ball or what's some of the other ones? A dance ball. When was the last time you used a dance ball and thought, man, this is a good use?
Jig ball is situational because the radius on it isn't as big as you think it is. Grog ball, a little bit better because it can really mess with the person bilging. So as long as you shoot near the pocket, it can be really handy. Anyways, we digress. I've not used the silence ball nor seen it used. I can't remember what else we were talking about.
The doubloon crates.
Doubloon crate, yes.
Do you think that those should have a rarity chance associated with them and then just available somewhere in the world through some sort of means?
I'm of two minds because the people who are going to farm those things are going to farm those things. The people who are going to go so incredibly hard that it becomes pointless at the end, those people are always going to exist. So there's like almost no point in having anything locked to like a specific weekend for that sort of thing, because the people who are going to do that they're just going to do that. For everybody else, I'm of two minds. Like if it were really rare, like if it was like a 10%, if it were like a 5% drop in like the Fort of Fortune, then I could sort of get behind that. But I also, as long as it's like 200 doubloons, yeah. If it were like a 5% chance drop on like a Fort of Fortune, I'd be fine with that. Keep showing up season like all the time, and then I don't know. I guess during a regular weekender, maybe if it was like found at the Fort of Fortune as well, on top of that, and it counts like a stolen one.
Keep in mind too, like there is a cap, so it's not like an infinite number that you'll get. Like you're going to get up to 4,000. Exactly. The intent here is to give people who have stuff to buy with the doubloons an opportunity outside of just the weekenders.
Yeah. So I would say, it wouldn't bother me too much if it was you'd be able to find that sort of stuff outside of the weekender, and then on the weekender, then maybe it just becomes more plentiful. It becomes a lot easier to find it on the weekender, and you get more of them that way. I'd be fine with that.
I would be curious to hear both of your guys' perspective. If you think that this is something that once you hit all the commendations for smugglers, if it's something that becomes available through smugglers,
like all the time.
I mean, it's like you would, and like the details, obviously, like just speculating, but something that engages with the smugglers more to reward you for the time that you've invested. Like right now, everyone, like most of us have all the smuggler stuff done. Less of an issue because then you just have free access to it. But if it's something that works like a reputation, like an emissary flag, but not an actual emissary flag, for smugglers, since they're not a real reputation, but getting access to doubloons from the smugglers seems like you would want to do some way to engage with them outside of just normal. So maybe it's like a message in the bottle that you gain access to, or you find because you're top all the commendations done with smugglers.
First off, they need to make smugglers their own reputation anyway.
Well, one of the things that the smugglers should be doing is it's right there in the name. You need to be smuggling something. And what you should have is some sort of like illicit cargo. So you again, you don't want more different chests and loot items in the thing, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna advocate for creating more loot items. And these are the loot items that you use. So you create a new voyage for the smugglers, and the voyage is you taking these loot items to literally any NPC that you can find in the world, barring like Larina and the mysterious stranger. And so you get you throw down the voyage, you get your contract, you have to go to X smuggler to pick up the stuff, and then you have to take the goods and you put it like you give it some sort of sinister name, like old Grimm's triple or sextuple X fire mead or something. And then you have to go and deliver it to, say, like, oh, what's his face up at Jonah at the Wild Treasures store. You have to go and deliver it to him, but it's illicit because you're doing it under the cover of secrecy. Nobody's supposed to know you're drinking Old Grimm's Sextuple X fire mead because that gets you good and proper hammered.
I
sort of deal.
I don't know that you could do anything like that and have it actually contribute to the smuggling aspect, though.
I'm trying here. Give me something.
That would be better because you're not taking them from one smuggler to another. Taking them from one smuggler to another is kind of redundant, if you ask me. If you have it go to like Grog Soak Ed or what's her name on Deadshot over at Lone Cove, or
Well, yeah, and I'm thinking not even them, but you take it to like the weaponsmith over at Ancient Spire.
Because
they're ordering like illicit goods, and nobody's supposed to know that you're doing this. You just see a guy.
You could be more to more.
It sounds
exactly
a lot like rag and bone crates.
It is. What are we supposed to do, man? I've got. You need more mechanics in this sort of thing, because what else have we got other than delivery quests?
So I just put two and two together for this conversation. I was doing, I was playing around and just boarding, the stupid ships that the skeleton ship that attack you randomly. Like this, you're sitting at an island and they start circling you, right? They can become more aggressive now. So I shoot off and go and fight the skeletons and try to see if there's a keg on board to blow them up. Well, the other day I realized this. I saw what looked to be a trapdoor at the bottom of the sloop. I'm thinking right now with this conversation, like we can have a trapdoor at the bottom of our sloop that we could put things in and kind of lock it up where people can't just necessarily steal it, but they have to sink our ship and then kill, or we can have it on our person where it's not like an item. It's more like a quest item, and they can't really take the key from us unless they either A, kill us so many times, or B, they sink the boat, and then the box open, that box will float up, and then they can open it with a key, or maybe they can pick lock it like in Fallout or something like that. But like that'd be more smuggling than anything. Like make the ship the Millennium Falcon and have a trap door, and you can hide things in. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to have a way to have a reason to smuggle stuff. I run into my brain will not let me ignore the practicality of how things play out in Sea of Thieves, because it's like the idea is good, but I start to think like, how is that going to work in the reality of how people play Sea of Thieves?
You meet somebody at the edge of the shroud, an NPC that you deliver to at a weird place that everybody will have a note to go to, and you have to go collect certain items within like certain treasures and then bring it there, and then you'll get some kind of cool reward for it. Like and the ship could be anywhere along the edge of the stores. That'd be kind of cool, kind of like one of those outposts in Arena that just show up randomly to to turn stuff into.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of interesting too.
Those are so underutilized. I miss those.
It's an asset in the game that they no longer use.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good idea. It's an interesting idea.
So here's what I'm expecting to happen with the smugglers. I think that we're going to have something like that, but I think that the end to them is going to be when the Grand Maritime Union actually make it to the Sea of Thieves, and we have ships that are going around that are Grand Maritime Unions that we have to get illicit cargo from and then transport with. I think that's my theory on like where they're going with the whole smuggler thing, and why those guys are important. But to kind of go back, I do want to know, like, is it at least feasible that they should be having another way of getting doubloon crates outside of the weekenders, so that people that can't engage with that content have some sort of opportunity to get a decent cash outside of like the Reaper chests and the doubloon bags and stuff.
The doubloon bags going away in the normal Ashen crates that you open up is terrible, but you can still find them in the ones in Depleted Fortune. But yeah, you should be able to get doubloons. I think you should be able to get small kind of doubloons from turning in some of these paintings. You know, like 5 doubloons per painting would be reasonable. And that would because the smuggler loot right now is kind of worthless. I mean, especially for somebody like me who has 300 million in the bank that doesn't need it. But you need to find more of a way to earn doubloons at a slower rate, mind you. 0 is not an option. You know, that's terrible, except for weekenders. But yeah, there needs to be a few more options and to get doubloons. But I don't know, they need to do something.
Seconded.
I think there's, I think like having other, I don't know why they decided to I don't know why Rare decided to put a cap on a currency and then reduce the amount of ways to earn that currency. If you're going to cap it and then leave everything the way it normally is. Because once you hit the cap, you're done. You're not going to, like, unless you have something to buy, you're not going to do anything with that currency. So how you earn it does not impact how much you have at the end of the day, because you're only going to have up to that cap. It seemed like it should have been one or the other. You either don't cap it. Go ahead.
They're trying to keep everybody from having the new fancy items all at once, all in the seas. Like, there are some people out there that didn't get their doubloons reset right away, and they were able to go to Duke and buy the curse and the sale, or the death sale. They were to buy everything all at once because their doubloons didn't get reset right away. I saw that all over Twitter. Like, people had these things within the first 5 minutes when they logged in, because they saw that their doubloons would get. Now that was kind of shady. I don't care that happens. That's a mistake on Rare, not on those people. But they maybe those people should be put in the negative for doubloons. That'd be kind of a bad way of doing things as well. But it's Rare's fault. They should have made sure that everybody got reset at the same time. But the thing is, they're trying to keep people from having all the nice fancy stuff all at the beginning, and keep slow dripping it through. And that's understandable to a certain extent. But most people who played those seasons, was it 12, 13, 12, 13, and 14 that are in Lorena's shop, and I think 15. I think there's four, and there's only a couple items per. Like 4 items per season in there in her shop for 100 doubloons a piece. I want to say probably 70% of, or anybody who's actually played the season pass has those items, because the items they were on the free side, not the paid side. Yeah. So there's a lot of people have those things already, and they have the stats to see that. One would think, because they track a lot of stats. But it's like, It's weird, because they had already released all the other stuff as items in the shop, so they couldn't put those, and they hadn't released these guys yet, and they were going to drip feed those things in. So I mean, but it's to keep people try playing a game and keep them engaged and stuff like that. But they're doing it in a really weird way, and putting a cap on how much you can earn. The actual cap itself is not a bad thing. It's the cap of acquiring them and the slow what I'm doing to get doubloons is going and killing captains and trying to dig up a Reaper chest instead of a storage crate or a bounty chest. And I found 6 out of 72 captains I killed at one time on one session. I got 6 Reaper chests. That's silly for me to go and do that, but yeah, I got 60 coins out of that because I wasn't running a Reaper's emissary, so I just got normal value out of it. But yeah, that's over like the last couple of days. I think I've gotten like 10 Reaper's chests doing that.
Yeah,
and then maybe the emergent one here and there. So maybe another 100 out of that. I think I'm at 415 doubloons right now, over and above the 1500 for the. I got the I did buy the curse the first couple of days, and without stealing any doubloon crates because I'm terrible at PvP. But then there's the people who got 2 galleons together and were farming the doubloon chests and just trading off and putting new pirates and then putting quests down and just sitting there trading doubloon crates. That was kind of ridiculous. And then other people, I mean, each their own. They found a way around Rare's rules that are against. I mean, there's no terms of service against anything like that. It's in the game, and that's. But I mean, I can't say because I'm one for doing things like that, but in a weird way.
But the difference being is that you can trade chests as many times as you want. You're only going to earn up to 4,000 doubloons.
Right.
So
and
at that point, like
there's nothing to buy after that.
Yeah, and so. I think that's my the eventual point that I'm making is I'm fine if they're going to cap it, but there's no point in capping it if the way to get doubloons is more difficult than it's worth to try and farm them.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. That's a double-edged sword. It's a conundrum that nobody could figure out from them. Why do they cap it if they're going to make it hard to acquire them anyway? So, but yes, but I understand why they capped it because they want you to keep they're trying to keep player engagement and they're finding really bad ways of doing it.
Yeah,
I guess that's what I'm getting at.
If they had kept it so that there was no cap, but the way that you earn them was harder, I think that would be fine. Make it more rare, but there's no cap. You can stack it if you want, but that doesn't fix the way that like people are going to cheese the weekender system.
Right.
But if you cap it,
even if you cap it at 10,000, that's fine too. But yeah, cap it. But yeah, definitely if they kept the cap and then made the doubloons slightly easier to get, like 25% more easier to get, then and still be able to earn doubloons instead of 10 at a time from a Reaper chest. I think that's a better trade-off than having both of those things at the same time. Like,
yeah,
keep one or the other. Don't keep both of them. That they're both. It's all terrible, but having half of that equation is better than those two things together. You're absolutely correct about that. That's super terrible. All of them. It's bad.
Yeah, I think that's the issue that I'm running into is that they nerfed the way to get doubloons and the doubloons that you can purchase or the doubloons that you can get too much. It should have been one or the other and allow players to decide how they want to engage with it. And I think having a cap is fine because once you hit that cap, you're safe. You can go in and buy whatever you want and then work your way back up to that cap, but don't nerf the way that you get the doubloons to the point where it's almost impossible for someone to get to the cap between months or between seasons. Hammer, was there anything you wanted to jump in with on that, or have we kind of said everything?
I was just going to say that to an extent, I sort of understand where they're coming from, the angle that they're coming from, because it sort of scratches the same sort of sicko mindset that I have about scarcity and doing stuff over a longer period of time. So in a way, it matches my own, which is why I'm not like terribly upset about it. But I also understand that I'm also not the my mindset is a fun and unique place that only I really share. I guess I share it with a couple of the devs who make decisions as well, but so I sort of understand where they're coming from. Is it the best way? I don't think I should be exclusively catered to in this manner. I am happy that they have sort of done that, but it's probably not best for all people. But also, I'm not upset that they've done this because of the way my brain works. So I get it.
I think it's interesting that there's because I mean this kind of goes back to the idea of the doubloon chase. At any given point in time, they could decide that they're going to change how things work, and you may have worked on something and earned the rewards for it, or you may have been treating it as a long-term goal, and now that there is a short timer on it, the amount of time that you have to do it pales in comparison to those that had been focusing it more on it like from the get-go, right? So now this long-term goal turns into a short-term goal, and the thing that you wanted to get from it is impossible to get because Rare decided at any given point in time that they are going to change the goalposts on it. And I think that's the trouble that I run into is that they are willing to change the rules at any given time because they need to shift reasons around it. And that doesn't always benefit the people who were treating it in a different manner than what was originally intended.
Do you remember when they used to have the daily deeds that would get you like 3,000 to 5,000 gold a day?
Yeah.
You had like 2 a day to do.
Love those.
Bring those back and make them doubloons. That'd be a great idea too. You only earn so much a day, but you're not getting 0 doubloons every day. I mean, and some of the daily deeds was like, oh, do an anchor turn. Some people do that by chance. Some people went out like me and I saw the daily deed and just did it.
Yep.
I think that would be a perfect thing to bring back the daily deed for silly things like that. And then make a big one like a weekly one for more like 100 or something like that. But hide it so that not many people know about it. And then you have to do it like word of mouth, like, oh, I got to get in there and play. Like, oh, you got to do this, or like a Voyage of Luck. Voyage of Luck, you could maybe have a doubloon crate show up in one of those, maybe a middle of the road Lucky Voyage or something like that. Ooh. That'd be kind of cool, you know? Yeah. Or you could have like a doubloon Voyage of Luck once a month or maybe once a week or something like that, and you can get a range of doubloons, like a different. You could pick up one of those 25 chests or the 200 chests. I think that would be great.
If you're going to build RNG into it, I say just make doubloon skeletons that show up. And every once in a while, you get really lucky with like a Order of Souls voyage or a message in a bottle that has skeletons. And instead of the skeleton captains being regular skeleton captains, they drop a doubloon skull.
Build more engagement with the things you already have.
Yeah.
All the different quests. Because right now I have no reason to do any quests in the game except for on my second pirate. And to be honest with you, I haven't done hardly any. The only quests I've done on my second pirate, because I'm bored and want to do some silly things and play the second pirate. I'm not buying anything with gold in it. I'm not doing any voyages except for Athena, because the only way to get Athena loot is to do voyages. So I'm going in and I'm trying to get I'm working towards I'm only buying items out of the gold shops if I need it to get accommodation done. I'm not going out to do certain accommodations. I'll like set my eyes on something, like I did all the newer stuff recently with it. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to play a little bit differently than I do on my main. But I'm trying to do like no voyages unless it's like a bottle quest or something like that. And then very rarely I do those. I just do I got the Pirate Legend in a week without doing any voyages. Just doing the random encounters with the purple guy. And doing and with
the purple guy.
But kind of the purple guy, and then getting all the loot out of there, and then what else was I doing? The skeleton captains with the shiny silver skull. What else was there's a few other things. I'm trying to make the game more interesting for me. And like I said, not buy anything out of the gold shop unless it need it for accommodation. Like all the I did all the Umber stuff, and I did all the Umber stuff, and the only one I don't have is Glitterbeard, the last quest for Glitter, Journal for Glitterbeard in the Cave. But that's almost impossible to do. So, but I'm trying to find new ways to play. But right now I'm on a quest to get more doubloons on my main, so I don't care about doubloons on my second pirate. So it's like I'm just weird like that. But yeah, it's like but you have to do some quests to be able to get through certain combinations. But you can do like the one goal I have is to get all the emissary ships, so I can get the combinations for putting the ship's livery on without actually buying the ship's livery from the merchants, because you can do that. You can get enough ship parts from the free emissary side that'll count towards the doing it. So I'm trying some weird stuff like that with the game on the second pirate, but not so much I think right now. Yeah, it's fun stuff I'm trying to do.
Nice. Yeah, I think that there's an opportunity for Rare to reevaluate how they've decided to go about this system, because I don't think that it serves the majority of players. I think it serves a small majority of hardcores, which that's fine. That's, I don't mind having content for the hardcores that want to find that long-term, that long tail goal. I think that if you're going to spotlight something as a regular event for people to engage with as like an everything for everyone thing, then you have to really kind of take into consideration what your intent here is. Are you trying to keep the market dry of doubloons? Then this, I think, accomplishes that. If you're looking to give players an opportunity to earn doubloons to purchase items that you've put into a store that is available for a short amount of time, I think you're failing to address the majority of the market in that case. I think that kind of rounds out most of what we were looking to talk about, though. Was there anything that you guys have heard in Sea of Thieves news that you wanted to address? Because realistically, I think there's not too much to really go over outside of the announcement that raid world events are going away for season 20.
Or there's also that we're only getting custom server in the next season thing.
Yeah.
That's a terrible idea, but I can see where they're going with that.
I don't know that it's terrible on such a big feature that they want to focus exclusively on it.
Right.
I think that is one of the things that they should sort of really try and stick the landing on, because of the Listen. We all know what we're talking about here. What can I do at this point but hope? What other choice do I have, man?
Oh, I don't think
to land the Grand Maritime Union update very well if they're going
look. I just want them to land the next Bilge Rat Weekender first.
Yes.
I just, you know what?
Then we can talk about like
at this point, what else can we do but, just soldier on. So
they're still testing Last Ship Standing. So
no, we are testing Last Ship Standing.
You're not wrong.
We're the ones that are doing the QA.
When is that coming up? It's coming up soon, isn't it?
That's next month.
May.
Is it?
Yep.
It's next month.
So, next month is Last Ship Standing, but they're doing a test on it really soon.
Yeah.
Well, they've done a couple.
Yeah, they've had 2 tests so far. I think that the feedback has been pretty good for them so far, which is nice. But yeah, they need to land Last Ship Standing for me to have faith that custom servers are not going to be broken. And I think that unfortunately the quality of the builds that have been coming out lately may have factored into why they've decided that they aren't going to charge for custom Cs.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Speculation.
I think there's a lot of good stuff to be. I think there's a lot of good stuff for custom Cs. I'm excited to make my own ridiculously annoying treasure map hunts, the riddle map ones, like in the Hoarders hunt. I'm going to make my own version of those and then see how far people get into them.
I think custom seas is going to be good. I don't necessarily think that it being the main thing for a season is going to be good for the health of the game. But then again, the game health has been in question for a while now. So I think that I'm going to give them season 20 to give themselves the time to develop for season 21, because I think that that's essentially what they're doing here. Is they're buying themselves 3 months of development time for season 21 and whatever that's going to be, by cutting out everything that was going to happen in season 19 and then just leaving custom seas as like the main thing that they're working on outside of last ship standing. But season 21, whatever that is going to have something.
I think it was good of them to get ahead of the showcase and be like, hey,
this ain't it.
Do not get your expectations up like this high. I think that was good of them to get ahead of that sort of thing, because I think one of the major problems with modern fandom culture is expectation management. And I think it's good when people come out and say, you guys should dial it back for this event here. Don't expect the moon. I think that's good.
I do think that part of that is on the dev teams who want to surprise and delight and then put in surprises that they're setting the expectation that a surprise is possible.
I'm happy that they put that out there, but I'm not happy that they put that out there. You know what I'm saying? I was expecting something kind of big on the level, like I think I said last podcast. I was expecting something like a big announcement, and that big announcement didn't come, and apparently is not coming. So I'm disappointed in that respect, but I'm also happy that they're going to take some time to get their act together and maybe come with something big, not necessarily after June, but maybe later on in the year. I'm still hopeful for that big update that may or may not come. I want it to come, but we'll see.
And that's a good example of why it's good that they did that, because just imagine how upset you would have been in June when the showcase came and went with nary the announcement you were hoping for.
I would have been I wouldn't stop playing the game, but I definitely would start losing faith even more than I haven't lost any faith, but I would have lost a lot of faith in that they can actually produce anything if they hadn't made that announcement and said, hey, we're trying to get things, even though they didn't quite say get things right. They said, I could see that the writing on the wall was they're going to trying to get things right by delaying this, cutting stuff out, delaying that, not having a showcase, what have you. I think they're taking the right steps. They just need to produce when they finally produce it. That's what I'm getting at. And that's what I'm happy for, that they're trying to get on the right foot.
Yeah, I would rather them let us know and be real honest that the caliber of the content that they had in store is already something that they want to spend more time working on, because I'd rather them say like, hey, we realize that we really need to get this right, and if they can't, then don't come out with it. Like, I don't care if the content's delayed, but when it does come out, it does need to be locked in. And them saying like, don't expect anything for season 20 outside of custom seas tells me that they understand, like, they can't miss. They've missed too much. There's no more missing.
I've been saying for a long time on a lot of different forums and different people's videos, like Captain or Agent Merton and a few other people, like, they need to disconnect an update. They need to update from the season. Keep giving us that small amount of content every 3 months. Keep that going. But if you can't deliver, say, the Strived Spoils with season -10, whatever that was, then move it and don't tie it to a season, but say, well, it's coming. We got to delay it. We're still getting season 10, or, whatever. We're still getting the season, but that content, but you're not getting the actual big update until maybe somewhere down the road in like season 20 and a half or something like that. Like, it might not release with the season date, but it'll release sometime. And I don't know, those types of things need to happen. They need to uncouple the big updates from those seasonal dates, in my opinion. By taking away this act stuff, it's kind of cool. I think they should keep some of the act stuff in there and maybe use those like I said, the daily deeds more of like a daily deed, but like a monthly deed, and keep those things in and theme them a little bit, but not hardcore like they have been. That's where they got into some trouble. Like do some smaller stuff, and but have smaller stuff that you can handle that, and then have a team work on the big thing, and then the big thing come out and then blow everybody away with the big thing, and that team handle that thing, and just have the smaller teams work on the smaller stuff. But
I think they're
they
getting
need to
there.
find a way through that. I think they are too, but
Yeah.
they need to find their path.
With all the stuff they've talked about, with them saying that they want to have returning events, and that they have a pool of events that are going to cycle in and out during seasons, I think it's clear that they're setting this up so that there's going to be some repetition in the stuff that we do that cycles in and out, and then as that is in progress for their live service aspect of it, they will work towards bigger expansions or DLC updates, level updates that will then go in and actually change the world in a meaningful way outside of what they've currently been trying to do, which is push DLC updates or like expansion updates with each season, and just not having enough time to develop that. I just don't understand what happened to all the people that were working on the team that were allowing them to manage this kind of thing for the last some number of years where it hasn't been an issue.
Yeah, they've lost their way quite a bit with whatever, either that or people got laid off. I'm not sure, but something happened where they're not being able to manage those, either manage the people or the teams left, or something happened that they don't have the structure in place like they used to, that they would cycle like every other update was that different team, it was cycling back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped that a long time ago, from what I can gather from watching the videos and stuff like that. They didn't really tell us outright, but that's what it seems like. But have your normal content come out and on a 3-month basis, but not not a theme thing, and then have the big themed updates come out like maybe every 6 months. I think that's fair.
Something funky happened when Everwild got canceled.
Yes.
And something messed the studio up. It messed the studio up real bad along the way, and that's sort of I don't know. That sort of seems like when everything started getting screwed up. I'm not sure what it is, but
There was something that happened where like they did lose people as a result of Everwild getting canceled, and some people left. But there was definitely something that happened, because as far as I know, not the layoffs weren't nearly as bad for Rare as they were for other studios. So, and that's why I'm trying to understand like how many people are still working at that studio, because they aren't making a second game that I know of. They aren't porting the game to a different ecosystem, which is what delayed a lot of stuff when they were doing that for PlayStation 5. So everyone at that studio, as far as I know, should be working on Sea of Thieves. So why is the cadence and content bad right now compared to what it was in the past, when the content was the content was plentiful and the bugs were fewer, and we weren't having to have Drew come out every month and say, we know we've missed the mark.
Duncan's not there anymore.
R.I.P. Tango Gameworks.
Yeah.
I think ever since Craig left, things have soured over there. Something like the inmates are running the prison.
The inmates are. Well, Joe is one of the people that took over for the studio. So
I like Joe, but I'm not trying to badmouth anybody over there, because they're all good people. But it just seems like they're not cracking the whip hard enough on some of the workers, and things got lackadaisical. And if I was to do a bad job like that in my job, I mean, yes, they're coming out with good stuff, but it's like I said, not meaningful. Things are going to the wayside. Things are breaking. If I was to do that in my job, I'd be fired in a heartbeat. But something needs to happen.
I wouldn't have a job if I had as many bugs as Rare's,
yes,
as Sea of Thieves does.
Again, I'm not trying to badmouth those. I think they make a great game. I think they do a great job. But something's foul, and something that's had some problems, and certain things have happened, and it just seems like they need to get their act together and produce a really good product and make all of us old guys have been playing the game for the whole 8 years happy and bring in some new people, because there's a lot of people falling off and not playing the game anymore. And it's, yes, they made these changes to bring people closer together in the seas, but now I'm finding that I am finding more people, but it's still kind of hit or miss. And I'm server merging a lot more than I used to because of that new, which tells me there's not a lot of people on the servers I'm on. So like that just tells me there's really not a lot of people playing the game if I'm server merging constantly with that happening.
Ironically enough, the Steam numbers for Sea of Thieves have actually been higher recently, and I'm not sure why, but they've actually.
That is kind of interesting.
Because I check in from time to time to kind of get a gauge on it.
Yeah.
And the numbers genuinely have been higher in the last, I would say, like week and a half. Like today is actually one of the higher days that they've had since the 19th, which I think was like the second day of the Bilge Rat Weekender. Which is just, it's interesting. It's interesting to kind of see for whatever reason. I don't know if the doubloon change has caused people to see that there's content that they can now get that they missed out on, and that's actually driving engagement. So maybe that is one of the things that's been bringing people back, is the fact that Lorena has stuff that they missed out on that they want to go farm for. But yeah,
that's a good thing.
Let me check the emissary numbers.
I'm curious to kind of understand why the numbers are up when there's literally for me no reason to go outside of 2 items from Duke. There's no reason for me to log in to work on anything in particular outside of what I would normally do.
Let me check the emissary numbers. The emissary numbers popping up. How many days do we have left of this thing to go faster? 6 days. So we got about 6 days. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so the Gold Hoarder one, which usually has like the most in it.
Yeah.
The lowest I have currently is, well, they've put in 200,000 worth of emissary value, and they're at 98,000. That's lower than usual. That is much lower than usual. And that's for Gold Hoarders. That's the one that's reliably always the highest up.
I find that and Reapers are pretty high. Everybody likes to play Reapers. It's a good catch-all.
I think Gold Hoarder is typically because it's the easiest to get and the one that people don't mind doing as much. Usually, I
think Order of Souls is easier because you can kill all those emergent captains and get those 5,000 gold skulls. You can get pretty high in Order of Souls Merchant is the hardest, mind you. Everybody hates Merchant.
Yeah, but typically Gold Hoarders trumps all. Like typically people are higher in Gold Hoarders than any other.
That's what all the Swabbies do.
Yeah, most of the Swabbies die to the skeleton still.
Yes,
bless them.
You're right about that.
Well, it'll be interesting to kind of see how things go with custom seas. I think Last Ship Standing is going to do well. I think a lot of folks are going to enjoy that, and I think it's going to be fun, and people will look forward to having that back. Personally, I think the Bilge Rat Weekender was a flop, just in the sense that it wasn't working most of the time for a lot of people. The whole doubloon crossover thing caused a lot of headache for folks to find out what does and doesn't award doubloons. I think that the way that they went about it had some serious issues, to the point that they sent out a survey. So they understand that things didn't go as well as they hoped when they send out a survey.
Oh, did we get a survey?
I did. I most definitely got a survey asking what I thought of the Weekender.
I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, I didn't check to see.
It was paired shortly after getting one for the Insiders, to see how Insiders was doing. Okay. But yeah, I took that 30-minute survey.
I'll have to look for that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, side note, you can't spawn the Shrouded Ghost even in custom servers.
Well, it would have to exist.
That's very true. It's the only Megalodon you can't spawn in that. I was hoping to go in there and practice skilling it, but I think just people would start making videos on it and saying I killed the Shrouded Ghost, which would be a lie.
I mean, that's their own. That's their issue. It's not going to transfer over to live. So if they want to claim that they've got it, then that's on them to live with that lie. All right, gentlemen. Well, if you guys are good, then we can wrap things up here and call it a successful Gold Hoarder episode.
I'm good.
Hammer, you got anything?
Works for me.
Okay.
Nah. I was gonna grab a wood chest and turn that into merchant and see what the number was at like the absolute lowest, but not worth waiting for.
Alrighty. All right, pirates. Well, I appreciate you guys dropping in to kind of talk Sea of Thieves. It's always good to have your guys' opinions because I think that we generally have different philosophies on different parts of the game outside of us just loving it in general. But I would hope that Rare takes into consideration the feedback that they get from the survey, as well as just like the general discourse on social medias and stuff, as well as the analytics that they have for engagement on actual weekenders, and maybe consider ways to address some of the issues that they've created with this whole doubloon reset system. But I am looking forward to Last Ship Standing, and I think that'll be interesting to see how that goes, as that always kind of brings a lot of attention, at least from a streamer's perspective. So, Morpheus, we're heading out. Anything you want to say or shout out as we get out of here?
No, just have a good week next week, and hopefully we'll play some. Last Ship Standing's coming in the middle of the month in May, something like that. So
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to that. And thank you for having me.
Pleasure as always. At Hammer, we're heading out. Who would you like to shout out, and anything you got going on you want to tell folks about?
Just as always, my crew: Tengu, Wailing Witch, and Rainbow Sam, and a very special shout out to Rainbow Sam, who I met in the UK. We went to the Isles of Scilly together because I was in the UK, she was in Germany. When were we ever going to get the chance to meet up again? So we went to the Isles of Scilly together. We had ourselves a nice little pirate adventure. We saw many beautiful ship capstan or figureheads at the Valhalla Museum. We ran across Prince William and Kate Middleton and their family on a bike ride. It was
You ran
an
over
adventure.
them?
No, they
You said you
biked
ran
right
across
past
them. Oh, okay.
we ran across them. They
With a bike.
They were on the bikes. We were just walking.
They ran over you.
Yes, I died that day. You were talking to the ghost of Godhammer 6.
Okay.
We had an incredible little adventure with all the spills and thrills that come with maritime travel, and it was wonderful. I wouldn't trade any of it. Foibles included. I'd do it again in a minute. And so it was just great to meet her, and it filled my heart with joy to do that entire thing. I'd do it again.
I bet. I know the 2 times that I went to London, I had a really good time. Bummed that I won't be able to go to Sea of Thieves Fest this year, but there's always another year with any luck. I'm glad that you made it back safe. I'm disappointed that you didn't steal a figurehead, but that's fine. You're usually a pretty lawful good guy.
It was going to be a challenge to fit it into the overhead compartment.
And you get it strapped onto the front of the plane. No, all right. That's fine.
I don't have the same lateral thinking that you do. You're a cleverer man than me.
Now you're just trying to play it off by gussing me up, which I'm fine with. I will take that this time. I think that will do it. I appreciate you guys dropping in and having the conversation as always, and I look forward to the next one, which will hopefully be post Last Ship Standing update. All right, pirates, that's going to do it for this episode of the Keelhauled podcast. As always, if you guys have any questions or concerns, you can always write in to CaptainLogun@gmail.com. You can always reach out to me on Discord through the Keelhauled podcast. Links are in the show notes. Otherwise, I'm over on social media at CAPT_LOGUN on Twitter, as well as, what is my Blue Sky thing? I never remember what my Blue Sky, at CAPTLOGUN.bluesky.social. So yeah, that is where you guys can find me if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'm on those, so I see messages and I try to respond when I do see those, but I don't typically post all too much anymore. I probably will be, as I'm going to be doing more content for the expansion pass. We just got some Switch stuff in, as well as some code, so gonna be working through those as we get through them. So keep an eye out on those if you're looking for other gaming content as well. But with that, pirates, thank you. I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.